Hello and welcome to another Talking Points. I'm Will Gerhard, filling in for Anna Giles today. We're happy to have you with us. We'll be joined by Claire Moran to discuss rising tensions in Venezuela. And later, we'll be joined live in studio by President Barack Obama. But first, it's been 4 long weeks since senior correspondent John Tomino last appeared on Talking Points. No one here at the station has seen him since. We've had reporters in the field tracking the seasoned journalist these past few weeks, but with little success. Senior correspondent Alex Amico joins us now for more on the possible whereabouts of his venerable colleague, Alex. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Alex, take me through this. Where was the first sighting of John on this timeline?
Well, John was first seen February 7th. He lit the torch at the Sochi Olympics opening ceremonies.
Now, John, of course, being a famed journalist, but not quite an international figure just yet, that's a surprising choice. Do you know why he was chosen?
It is surprising. Apparently, he and Russian President Vladimir Putin bonded over a day of bare-chested badger hunting.
The picture of President Putin bare-chested in my mind is not one I like, so please...
Is it Putin a bad taste in your mouth?
I'd say the least, yeah, sure.
Then on February 12th, John flew to North Korea where he had lunch with Kim Jong-un.
By any chance, was former NBA star Dennis Rodman there?
No, Ambassador Rodman was not in attendance, but he sent his regrets along with a gift basket of malt liquor and hair dye.
A generous donation.
Yeah, indeed. Then on February 17th, John was reportedly at the Vatican where he was ordained a cardinal by Pope Francis.
Really? A cardinal?
Yes, and we have sources that say he's already a frontrunner to be named the next pope.
Are these sources from inside the Vatican credible at all?
Please. On February 28th, John was seen leading an anti-government protest in Kiev, Ukraine.
Any word on what his speech consisted of?
Well, yes. Apparently he was standing on an overturned car and repeatedly screaming "Viva la Revolution," despite the fact that no one in the crowd spoke Spanish. It was quite bewildering for those in attendance.
Well, John is bilingual, so that doesn't really surprise me all that much.
He truly is a Renaissance man. Then on March 3rd, John accepted the Academy Award for Best Costume Design for his work on The Great Gatsby.
So after he won, did he go to any after parties? Was he seen there at all?
Yes, apparently he spent the entire night following around Leonardo DiCaprio, waving his Oscar in his face and taunting him, screaming, quote, "Nya, nya, 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 nya." DiCaprio reportedly left in tears.
Well, that's what you get to do when you win, a big award like that, I guess.
Absolutely. And then on March 13th, he was spotted speaking on behalf of Rob Ford, Toronto Mayor Rob Ford, at a campaign stop.
How in the world does John know Rob Ford?
Well, it's interesting. We called Rob Ford to try to get comment, and he refused comment, but we can only assume it's through some scandalous way. After that, John fell off the grid, and I tracked him to the middle of Damascus, but just before I reached him, a rocket-propelled grenade exploded 3 feet from my head.
Oh, jeez.
When I awoke, I was pinned under a small truck, and John was there. He leaned down, and he whispered in my ear. I couldn't make out what he said. I just heard the word vociferous.
Wait a second. So you said you saw John?
Yeah, here's what I looked like after the attack. And this is what we believe John looked like. This is what John looked like when I saw him. If we can see a picture right there.
Well, you cleaned up nicely, but he's obviously he's in full battle gear. He's ready to go.
Yes, he is, indeed.
Jeez. Well, Alex, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Keep the search on. I really hope we can find our good friend and
Absolutely.
colleague John Tomino.
Justice never rests.
After the break, we'll be joined by Claire Moran to take a look at the conflict in Venezuela. We'll be right back.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Turning a 20-foot wall into a canvas takes vision. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child knows how to deal with bullying when they see it happening. And chances are they want to help, but they don't really know how. Teach them that the best thing to do is calmly walk away, find a teacher or other adult, and speak up. And do your part. Be that adult they can talk to and trust will listen. Join me to help stop bullying. Go to stopbullying.gov to find out more.
Welcome back, and we turn our attention to the protests and revolution breaking out in Venezuela over the past few weeks. Let's bring in our correspondent, Claire Moran, for a closer look. Claire, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Will.
Now, Claire, this issue has not gotten a lot of coverage in the past few weeks, with so much of the media's focus being on the search for Malaysian Air Flight 370. Can you fill us in a little bit on what's going on?
Yes, I can, and you're right. The media hasn't really been focusing on this, but what's happening is protesters in Venezuela, led by students and lower classes, are protesting the high income rates and the high crime rates.
Claire, I'm sorry, Claire. I'm going to have to interrupt you here. We have some breaking news. Let's go live to senior correspondent Abby Budeman, live in Moscow, Russia. Abby?
In Moscow, near the area, the Talking Point's vanished correspondent has allegedly been spotted. It is reported that senior correspondent John Tomino was seen with President Vladimir Putin just a few hours ago. They were photographed by local Russian paparazzi, drinking straight vodka together in a small bar and seemingly in deep conversation. It has been reported that by Putin's close associates that the president thought John Tomino to be his favorite American and the only decent man in the United States. This is just days after a senior correspondent was seen walking in a park near Moscow with Edward Snowden. They were seen walking very closely to each other. However, no reports of an intimate relationship between the two men have been reported. This is Abigail Budiman, Talking Points.
Abby, thank you so much for the report, but I am completely startled. I knew John was certainly a Renaissance man, but I didn't realize, he had that much experience and that many sources in Russia to have, to do all those things. Claire, before we get started on Venezuela, because that's clearly the least important topic of discussion right now, do you know where John may be after hearing all he did in Russia?
I was quite frankly shocked to hear all that. I have no idea where John may be. I can tell you he's not in Venezuela, which is where these protests are happening. I really think we should talk about that, Will. It's an important story.
If we are going to talk about that, that is kind of interesting because John is he is bilingual, so him being in Venezuela would not surprise me in the least bit. So I think that is something that's still up for discussion because, maybe John did fly from Russia to Venezuela, racked up his frequent flyer miles, and really, maybe he has part of this involvement in what's going on in Venezuela. Do you have any knowledge of that? Any thoughts about that?
I mean, I don't, but we're assuming he has knowledge of this because he speaks Spanish. Is that the correlation we're making here?
Well, sure, that could be the crux of the argument. However, I think it's common knowledge that we know John is a well-traveled individual. He's very smart. He knows his way around the globe, to say the very least. So, saying he's not, one of the people at fault here for Venezuela I don't think that's, too outlandish.
Well, I believe it is. I can tell you a little bit about the head of the revolution movement if you want to hear about that, but you seem pretty set on this John story, which quite frankly I don't think is as important as this Venezuela story.
Claire, I'm sorry, not to be frank, we just don't have time for that. When we come back, we'll get to Claire Moran's story on Venezuela, and still later, the President of the United States will be joining us. We'll be right back.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. So is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Welcome back. We're still here with Claire Moran, but first, sorry Claire, we're going to go to Hunter Signs at the Plasma for the latest on John Tomino. Hunter, what do you got?
Well, thanks, Will. Now, here we have a map of where someone had the last contact with John Tomino just outside of South China going into Indonesia. Now, this is some 2,500 miles, circles that entire area, so he could be anywhere within that location. But it's a big, vast circle. You know, it takes up this entire screen. Our sources are telling us, though, that he could possibly be in the Indian Ocean on a lifeboat, possibly accompanied by a tiger, roar, and an ape, ooh, ooh, ah, ah, if you know what I mean. Satellite image of some of the possible objects were found. Now, this could be related to John. There's no confirmation just yet what those objects are belonging, if they do belong to John, but since this is where John most likely is, so many Johns in the script, who knows, maybe he dropped his phone or luggage or maybe even his pants. You know, they were known to be white at times. Bet you know they're not so white anymore. But this is very important information as the search continues. Again, here's another picture of one of those spotted debris from one of those satellite images, supposedly where the last contact with John was. There is still no confirmed connection to John or what the objects are, but this could be a big piece of info. Oh, hold on. My news director just told me that this is not connected to John at all. This is all speculation. It's assumptions. This isn't factual news. That's not what journalism tries to do on a daily basis. We only serve assumptions and speculation. That's our main job here at Citrus TV. This debris actually is just some debris from a plane that might be missing, but we'll get to that story in the next 26 days or so. Right now, this is our top story, the only story we are focusing on right now. So the search continues. On to our next map. This, you can see where John was traveling. This is the area that, approximately where the debris was located, although it is a satellite, so speculation once again. Last communication, this is where John was. And here, no longer connected with John. It was found, so we continue to look out for that area. If you look at this area, all this gray area is where those search areas were already. The pink areas are where the search is headed. As of Monday, those areas should have been searched, but we are still looking everywhere and keeping our options open. As always, we will continue to keep you updated as we get more information on this top story that is so crucial to us. Will, back to you.
I'm sorry, Claire, this is really important. Venezuela can wait.
I'm kicking...
NBC News wants fake journalists like you.
You're kicking
they
me off.
They actually just called for your interview.
Oh,
don't forget your box. Yeah.
This is
Shorty,
please
get.
Claire, don't take this personally. This show's about America. This is called America. I don't know where you're talking about. I don't know where that is. This is far more important. So,
That's right.
We'll see you on the
sad.
next show. It's not that big
right
of a
here.
deal. Claire, it's okay.
Yeah.
Hunter, thank you. I'm so glad you joined me here.
Yeah.
I really wanted to get to the core of this, really try and figure this out, because this investigation has just been, we've been running circles around it. We can't, come to a conclusion. I see you have what looks to be John, but with blonde hair.
Yes, exactly. What we have with me now is an exact 2-scale model of Mr. Tomino. It is believed that he was wearing a suit, however, when he went missing, but it was
wearing a suit.
Wearing a suit.
Let me write this down.
Be sure to write that down. It's crucial information. Now, around the newsroom, though, he was always known as wearing his swimsuits, even a Speedo, instead of his tighty-whities. Don't ask me how I know that. The female news director, she told me that, from history.
Yeah, well, she's allowed now.
Exactly.
She's allowed
It's ridiculous. But pretty much, Ken, right here, this is pretty much what John is expected to look like floating somewhere, I guess, in the ocean.
Okay, so, when he was out there, though, how did he move? Because, he's obviously been going pretty fast. Can we just get, like, a slow-motion demo of how he's going?
So his arms, it was swimming like this. He was kicking, and his shorts came undone. It just, everything went to pieces. But, the less amount of clothes, the less amount of weight that he has to swim with to get somewhere on shore. And, who needs the shorts when you don't need them in the bedroom with the news director,
That explains all the debris.
The debris found, the debris spotted.
That makes a lot more sense. So,
it does. Could be garbage, too.
Clarification right here. Let me write this down. Clarification. It's a big word. Kind of takes a while to write. Clarification. Debris was shorts.
Yes, but
3, 1.
he also had sunglasses.
Make sure to tell our news director this so he knows for the next time.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so.
Well, if he comes back, he will definitely have a spot here. It's just a sad story, part of the family, you know.
Okay. Well, Hunter, thank you so much, for coming on.
Not a problem.
Coming up after the break, President Obama will be joining us here live on Talking Points.
El compañero de clase de mi amigo tiene algo llamado autismo. El hijo del hermano de mi amigo tiene autismo. El hijo de mi vecino tiene autismo.
Mi hijo tiene autismo.
El autismo está cada vez más cerca de casa. Hoy, 1 de cada 88 niños es diagnosticado con autismo, un aumento de 1000% en 40 años. Conoce las señales del autismo. Llama al 888-772-9050.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes up to bat, hitting .342 with a 92
Enfría alimentos crudos y preparados lo antes posible. Este año, 1 de 6 personas en Estados Unidos se enfermará por comer alimentos contaminados. Visita foodsafety.gov/español.
That's low. That's low. Look, he's blushing. Seriously.
Welcome back to Talking Points. It's me, John Tomino. To my Talking Points comrades, I haven't been in Russia. I haven't been in North Korea. What the hell were you thinking? I leave for a few weeks and your journalistic integrity goes out the window? The simple truth is, I just took some time for myself for some meditation and self-reflection. Ice fishing in Antarctica with Jimmy Hoffa. Oof. Your maps were abysmal. Your recreations, childish. And your reporting, all pure speculation. Whatever happened to getting information from the source? I had my phone on me the whole time. Any of you could have called me. The last time I checked, before we reported anything, we checked the facts 2 or 3 times at the very least, because we never give our audience anything less than the stone cold truth. For what it's worth, Abby, you could have saved the station hundreds of dollars on your flight to Russia. I'm fluent in Spanish, not Russian. And plus, there was no chance I was going back there. Lighting the Olympic rings was a total disaster. Journalism is about telling the truth about the stories that matter. We don't pander to ratings. We don't blow stories out of proportion. We don't distort the facts and make a story more exciting. We hold ourselves to a special standard here at Talking Points, and I expect more from all of you. So whatever you may be involved in, we hope you hold yourself to that same standard. Unfortunately, we don't have time for President Obama this week, but as a longtime golfing buddy, I'm sure he'll be willing to reschedule. For everyone here at Talking Points, I'm John Tomino. We'll see you next time.